by virtue of a very important criteria, how it feels. Because something that you've forgotten that we know so well that we want to remind you because we said that we would, is that the criteria that is evidenced by the emotion that you feel leads you directly to millions of choices that you've been making along the way. In other words, you've been making these choices even before you came into this body, and those choices are being held for you in your vortex of creation. And then you've been adding to them all day, every day since. Even before you could speak words, you were still having exposure to life, and you were still emanating requests. And so you've been asking, and there is this magnificent improved life in this vortex of creation that future generates will ride in on. So future benefits come knowing who, future generations come knowing who they are, having the benefit of all that you have lived. We just don't think you should have to croak and be reborn in order to receive the benefit. We think that you should be able to tune yourself to all that you have become by following the path of least resistance that is evidenced to you by the joy that you feel, or by the relief that you feel, by the improved emotion that you feel. We want you to remember that you keep expanding, and which means you have to keep reaching for the new improved expansion. Otherwise, you don't feel good. So what happens? People say sometimes, well, the longer people live, the ornerier they get because their bodies break down and so on. And we say, oh, that's a flawed premise. Their bodies break down because of the resistance, not because of the time that they spend in them. The longer you're here, and the more you just observe, and the more you have knee-jerk responses to life that doesn't feel good to you, the more you endure, the more you practice the vibration of resistance. And it's resistance that wears you out. You know it's true. You saw it with your fan belt. You know that it is resistance that wears you down. It's resistance that makes you sick. It's resistance that slows you down. It's resistance that bogs you down. It's resistance, and resistance is contradictory thought to who you are. You are someone who loves so completely that when you find some rascal that you choose to hate or dislike, you introduce resistance into your mix. And oftentimes you'll say, but it is so justified. Did you see what that person did to me? And we say, there is no justification for introducing vibrational resistance to you. There's not a justifiable reason in the world. It doesn't matter what it is, because you have the ability to focus yourself out of resistance and into allowing. You have the ability to focus yourself into alignment, not with just who you were before you were born, but who you have become since you've been here in this discerning, deciding, rocket launching, expanding version of you see. The source within you adores you in unspeakable ways. We cannot even find words that come close to expressing the appreciation that source and soul and your inner being feel for your willingness to expose yourself to contrast for the purpose of joyous expansion, you see. And so what this gathering is all about is helping you to first remember that you are a vibrational being, and next introduce to you in a meaningful way concepts that help you acknowledge the vibrational tenets of your being. And next, to introduce you to your guidance system in a way that you just cannot get away from moment by moment, and to help you to remember, to help you decide to remember that it matters how you feel, because how you feel is the indication of whether you're letting yourself be up to speed with all that you have become or not. You cannot stand still. It's not possible for you to stand in a moment of non-discernment, even if you are a one-celled organism. It's not possible for you to stand in a moment when exposure to life's contrast isn't causing you to ask for improvement. And it's not possible for you to stand in a moment where the larger vibrational part of you has not taken that expansion. And it is not possible for you to stand in a moment where you are absent of emotion, because there is always emotion present in every moment that you are conscious that lets you know the vibrational relationship that you've got going on right now because of what you're thinking in your physical body, the relationship, the vibrational relationship between who you really are in your vibrational reality, in the vortex of creation, where your inner being, where that which man calls God is, and what you're doing right here and now in your physical body. So, when you leave this gathering and you say, I care about how I feel. I care about how I feel because how I feel indicates my vibrational relationship. I care about how I feel, and I'm going to use how I feel as my reason for focus. If something happens and I see it and it's true and it's real and it's on the television and everyone's talking about it and it's being documented, it's being photographed, it's being put in the history books, it's history in the making, everyone's talking about it, and when I look at it, I feel awful, I will know in that moment that this is a powerful moment of catalyst where as a nation or as a world or as an individual, I am focused upon a problem that is simultaneously giving birth to a solution that I have access to here and now. And I hereby choose that I am going to be more solution-oriented. I'm going to look in the direction of what feels better. There are so many people beating the drum of the problems of your planet, and we are not for a moment suggesting that that's not part of the contrasting mix. We're just saying you cannot be part of the problem and part of the solution at the same time, and you want to make a choice. And we want to say to you that the source within you has already made that choice.